morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live podcast, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. It is cold, but it's so interesting that just a couple of degree change of temperature can help. It has been brutal cold the last few days, but I would say since yesterday and today, even though there's a little bit of wind, it definitely seems bearable. And the reason I am more concerned about the bearability is because we've been posting, so I'm sure by now you know that there is a polar bear plunge happening this Sunday, and the water is cold. And more than the water, when I come out, I would really like the air temperature to be warmer so that you can feel warmer immediately. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that as the next 24 hours and 48 hours progress, that it does get warmer and warmer in order to be able to go in the cold water. There's still time to sign up and join if you are interested in coming. I think it is going to be a really, really fun community-wide event because there are so many participants. Their metal fire pits, which are amazing just to look at. So I think even if you are not planning on going into the frozen waters, I would encourage everybody to join. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I hear you're talking about our plunge this weekend.
Are you watching the temperature?
I'm trying not to.
Well, I was joking. I mean, obviously I've been doing this for a while, but I don't do it as diehard as a lot of the other polar bears do. So I'm not as easily going into the water. Good morning, Travis. So I'm joking that I might be one of those crazies that runs in screaming and runs out screaming.
I'll tell you, last Friday, I went in and
I was
did like
so proud of you. So proud of you.
Well, don't expect the same performance this weekend. I think I'm going to run in and scream out too.
Well, it depends on the experience you want to have. Like in this case, there will be like 200, 300, I don't know how many people. So it is kind of like a larger atmosphere. So it might be harder to get the Zen experience anyway, right?
Yeah.
But the intent always is to use this practice to
calm,
sort of help you breathe. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's warm up instead of freezing. So I'm so glad, Travis, you're here. Hopefully you brought your hot coffee. I know I brought my hot tea to get me started.
It is nice and warm in here, so a little different than the polar plunge.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we need the coffee right after, so let's start with that. Let's introduce everybody who you are and what you're representing today at Visit Panoramica.
Yeah. So my name is Travis Zurawski, and I'm one of the owners of Panoramica here, along with Ian and 𝗲𝗽𝗍𝗍, who you might know from Little Creek Oysters. And at Panoramica here, we are a coffee shop, cafe. We have retail merchandise, and the place itself is an experience. It was built by 𝗷𝗍𝗽𝗍𝗍𝗍, and it took about 10 months, and we just opened at the start of the year. It turned out beautiful, and we're super happy to be open, and reception's been so great. So
I'm dying to ask you, Travis, whose idea was it to go with this futuristic look?
So it was a pretty organic, idea. The space itself needed a lot of work. It was pretty uninspiring. We're right next to the train station, which used to have a stop, and that ended in 1972, I think. And then the post office is also out of time and has been unchanged for at least 25, 30 years, as much as I can remember. So we thought about that as if this place was out of time in its heyday as a cafe, train stop depot.
Got it.
We took what ended in the 70s and brought it back, a couple of decades, and went into that style and design. A lot of the shapes and look and feel of the place was to make it a little more inviting. We had problems to solve along the windows and the columns that we had, and some of those shapes then just translated out into the rest of the space. And it was very organic, and you know, it was not designed to look exactly like the Jetsons, or we hear TWA Hotel.
Oh yeah.
You know, was, you know, a month or two of just design and on Pinterest, finding colors and shapes and fabrics that we liked. So it happened, you know, at a slower rate. And as Ricky works by himself, you know, he can get, you know, one thing done at a time. So you didn't have the whole space being built out all at once.
Right.
We fixed, you know, one piece and then moved on to the next.
Very cool.
So when you describe it, or at least when I describe it to anybody, I say, or I've heard it been said, as an experience-based cafe. And I think until you walk in there, because a coffee shop, there are many coffee shops. You can go, you can get coffee, you can sit down, you can enjoy your time, you can work. But the words experience-based cafe really reflect the mood as soon as you walk in through your door. So talk a little bit more about that experience.
Yeah. So how I would describe it is it's a space that makes everyone feel a little bit like a kid. Whether you're, you know, 70, 80, you remember, you know, these telephones that we have here, the TV, the colors, the materials that we used on the floor, the countertops. And truthfully, Ricky is just like a kid when you get to know him.
Well,
And
he's a
he wants
genius and a kid.
Yeah.
He's a genius and a kid.
not mutually exclusive. So when you come in, you're met with reflective objects like the giant mirror as soon as you walk in the door, the shapes, the audio and visual experiences that you just don't find, you know, throughout your day. And when you come in here, you can't help but look and explore around, and I think that's fun. It's a very discoverable space where if you pick up a phone, if you look at you know, a mirror or an object, it'll give you a different feel. You can listen to the moon landing. Kids can play with you know, radio control tower, you know, signals and things like that. So it's a lot of fun for everybody.
I'm glad you mentioned kids, because this whole time I'm thinking about this entire generation of like teenagers who are going to come in and have never used a phone like that, or never seen a black and white TV,
Right.
or even a box TV,
Yeah,
you know,
box
that
TV.
Yeah. Oh my God. They must be like, we don't even know what any of this is. Whereas our generation is like, oh yeah, I remember that. I grew up with that.
Right, exactly. And, you know, the space is built for kids to come and play around. I mean, ages, you know, 2 to 10 come in, they run around. It's built so well that it can, you know, sustain people playing and using things and actually experiencing, you know, what we've got going on. It's not built to be super delicate, and I like that part about it, because it should be playful.
Yeah.
And there's so much attention to detail, thought about partly due to the theme and just partly through the genius of the creation. I used one of the little booths you had just to sit there and work for an hour with my laptop. And
That's
even
right.
the outlet, oh, now you're in the booth.
Yeah.
Even the little outlet cover in that booth kind of made me smile, because it's not your basic rectangle outlet cover. Something about it just fit well in the theme. So I think I would need to come there like 100 times to even notice all the little details between the bar stools and between, what is that ordering system thing you have on the counter?
With Adam, yeah, the ferrofluid. You know, so that piece was designed by Ricky, but the fluid itself, you know, is charged, and when you speak, it responds and the fluid moves. So, you know, it's very science experiment-like, and
fun, and fun.
yes, and super fun, and you can play around with it, and it just becomes a part of the place where, in this era, when it's the space atomic age, you know, all the designs and creations were thought of as this will be the future of how people will live, right? And it was whimsical and fun, and that is the entire place here.
So tell us a little bit about the cafe part. So what do you guys serve besides coffee?
Okay, so we have, a lighter fare menu. We have a couple sandwiches that are pressed, like paninis. I do open-faced toasts. So 4 and 4 of each of those, and I try to keep it light. All the sandwiches are named. They all have a little bit of character and, connection to the place behind it. We have a nice selection of muffins and baked goods. Those are coming out of Harvest Bakery. That's in Holbrook. They're fresh baked and delivered every morning to us. And then we've got a salad, a parfait, and that menu is going to expand and keep growing, subtracting, adding in, and we're trying to find what people are liking. But for the most part, it's a pretty healthy, light fare menu to go along with the space.
So you casually mentioned that you're next to the train station, but for people who aren't aware of where you are, tell us, what town you're in, what your hours are, when people can come visit.
Yeah, so we are in Peconic, right on Peconic Lane, tucked away between the train tracks and the post office. So the space right between those two, you'll see us, recognize us by the oval windows that are out front as you're driving by. And right now we're Wednesday through Sunday, 8 to 4. That will change as we get a little deeper into the year and we get past 20 degrees maybe, throughout the day. But we're looking to expand hours and days pretty soon.
Just also, it's a great location because yes, you're next to the train track, and we keep talking about that. But there's also the pickleball courts. There's also, like, I think, is it Tasker Park? I'm not sure what the park is called. So there's a lot of active people running around playing that need to stop in for a coffee either before or after. And I have to give a shout out to the post office that you're next to, because as much as it is quote unquote dated in time, it is the cutest
Perfect.
experience to go in there and drop off a package. The people who work there, you feel like you've ended up in a different era, are so
Exactly.
sweet, kind. And if you go during the holidays, oh my God, it feels like you're in a Hallmark movie mailing your packages.
And also, I'll give all the locals a fun fact. It is the quickest, easiest way to get your passport renewed. They can take your picture right there. They fill out the paperwork for you. They send it in.
In that tiny little post office, where do they have space?
You go
There's
in the
no
back
place for you to stand there.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, over at the post office, I've been coming here for 30 years. My parents have had a P.O. box here for forever, so I've been coming in as a kid. I have my own P.O. box here, and I've gotten to know everybody over there really well. So they're all charming, wonderful people. They come in and visit, grab some lunch, and they're excited, and they were super patient while we were building, always ready for us to get open. So we're really happy to have them as neighbors and partners.
Okay, a couple of questions coming through in the comments, so let me ask those. We know the answer, but we'll ask. Any outdoor area?
As of right now, I don't have any. I'm hoping to add a table or two once we, get into the spring, something along the curbside. I don't specifically have a dedicated, outdoor space other than that. My suggestion, and I'm going to try and work with the town on this within 𝗥𝗶𝗰𝗸𝘆 Park, which we were just talking about, to maybe put a few picnic tables out there.
Ooh, I love that idea.
So
maybe somebody on roller skates can just deliver it.
That's it.
I'm just saying. I mean, I know this is Tracy's job throwing out ideas, but this just came to me. So.
Right. That was a good one, Sunita.
Exactly. So utilizing the park, because I always saw that as one of its biggest assets, to the location. That park is so activated, obviously pickleball, but Tasker has the playground. People walk on the track a lot, and youth sports for soccer, tennis, they're all held over at 𝗥𝗶𝗰𝗸𝘆, and it's just very activated, alive all the time. So I'd love to, be able to service that and have some tables over there, so you could pick up here and take a walk back and enjoy it by the park. But we will have a table or two out front.
Okay, more questions. So I'm going to throw two at the same time.
Yeah.
Any plans to add ice cream? And can you add an old-fashioned takeout window?
Old-fashioned takeout window, probably not. But I'm thinking about ice cream, maybe a few select flavors. Nothing is set in stone, but it's obviously it goes so well with coffee, and it's been on my mind. But
well, and you've got the playground right there, so it's like the perfect for the moms. You know, it's like that summer
yeah,
4 p.m. activity. We go to the park, then we go get ice cream, and then we go home to go to bed.
I could see.
I'm just,
Like root beer floats, and maybe one or two flavors on the ice cream side to go along with that afternoon coffee.
We don't even have to think of questions today. We're getting so many.
I am loving today's show.
This is the easiest interview ever.
This is great.
Although a lot of these questions I have too. Now, I know you have some salads on the menu, right? But Penny, one of our biggest fans, wants to know if you have anything gluten-free, because she is gluten-free. But what I wanted to answer to that before you answer is you guys just opened recently, right? So this is more you're feeling out what's working, what's not working, and I'm assuming there's a lot of evolution to come.
Yeah, so we do have gluten-free options. I have a gluten-free bread option. Our standard bread is a really nice sourdough, but I do have a gluten-free bread in-house. So any of the open-faced toasts or panini press sandwiches are available to be on gluten-free bread. We have a really nice parfait that is on that uses gluten-free granola. So there are options.
So, Travis, you mentioned that Ian and Rosalie are your partners. So what is your background? How did you get into this?
So I have been working with Little Creek for, I guess, 7-8 years now. So I've been over there, and I became a partner with them over at the bait shop, and now our new location on Carpenter Street. So the three of us are partners on both places.
Well, congratulations, by the way, on that new space.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we could talk a whole show about that, so we'll stick with this.
Yeah, different show for Little Creek. Deserves its own half hour.
Right. So, I started there as a server, loved the work, loved working with them. And I didn't have really any intention of getting into the restaurant industry, but it worked out so well for me. And, we just stuck with it. And being in this location, I knew it was going to be a positive thing for our strip here in Peconic and the community, just to add something for daytime use and add to the existing businesses that were here, like the brewery, Chronicle, obviously the post office in the park. So I knew the space was valuable. But
what was in the space before?
So we have received a lot of different ideas as to what was in throughout its history, but as of late it was a bakery, I think 12 to 15 years ago, and then it had a business that used the post office to mail products out, but it wasn't customer facing. So it was a very underutilized for a good amount of time, and I considered vacant when we picked it up.
It's quite an older building so it's been quite an older building that has had many variations of what might have been there.
So this building specifically was like 1850s built, and our storefront here, had a long history of being the Jefferson Store, and it was a little more of a community center upstairs. So it was a little bit of a hub for the small hamlet of Peconic, and has had different variations of being a general store, butcher, soda and goods, and those stories and that history is coming through the cracks, slowly.
Street, you mentioned you grew up out here on the North Fork. You're local.
Yep. I went to Mattituck High School and graduated in 2012. And I live right here in Peconic, and mom, dad, and my wife and her family have been out here for quite a while. So there's a nice history of the family out here.
That's awesome. awesome. Okay, I want to go back to a little bit about the creation of the space because I watched it being built or being the inside of it being done for months and months and months. I mean, literally months. So talk to us a little bit about how that process was for you guys. Because once I know I'm impatient, once I have an idea, I'm like, okay, let's go. But to have the patience to watch, I mean, obviously the creative genius and as it unfolded is fun, but how did you deal with the length of time from idea to here you are open?
Well, the first 2 or 3 months was really design thought and prep on the space. Initially we didn't really have, this direction picked out. We sought to work with Ricky, and he had an opening, and we were kind of just building ideas and getting ready for when he was available. And then once it started, Ricky works like a madman, and puts in extremely long hours and only consumes, what he's working on for that project. All of his time is really dedicated to what he's got going on, and he works extremely fast. So turning this place from what it was, which was a little bit of an empty box that needed a lot of TLC, into this shiny spaceship that we now have. It was really fun because every week there'd be a new addition, and living right down the road, I'd come visit before or after work and come check on that. But things moved quick, and once it was starting to get closer and closer, it was just inspiring, to put paint on the walls, give it some color, and then the life came into it, and it was really, really fun.
Well, I know I speak for the entire interweb that we're grateful for Ricky for capturing his process and for sharing the journey because it is so fun to watch. I mean, I can't imagine what goes on in his brain, but it's interesting to watch his capturing of it for us.
Yeah, and how he is able to work and just really fall into the project, to such a degree. It was, for me, an entirely new experience. It brought me into this thought of design that I really had not, been a part of. And working with him was really, really fantastic. We're pretty close, and he comes in, to check on me, make sure I got all the gadgets working right, and things are in place. So we have a really nice relationship, and getting to see the inside of Ricky's brain a little bit brought an experience that I really, really enjoyed, and it made me excited to see if there's other projects down the road that we could be a part of together.
I think it bears mentioning too that not only his creative genius in the work that he does, but his ability to capture the video the way that he does and create the content, because content creation is not easy, especially at the level that he's doing it at. And I mean, I can't tell you how many projects I start and I go, oh my God, I never turn on the camera. Yeah. Or so I mean, he's a creative genius in that way as well.
Yeah. So, with all the work that was done, just by him, by hand, he's got cameras rolling. And, if anyone's out there wondering, that is the real Ricky, whether the cameras are on or off.
Yeah.
That's
really his personality. And
frankly, I think he'd rather not be in front of the camera, which is why he's also not here today.
Of course. Sometimes, the artist, does better when it's just him and the product. He does such a good job of inspiring people to be able to look at his creations and then put that into their own homes. He just did a nice project with a woman, and it was the flooring that we carried here. He put time and effort to build out into her home, and he just does a really, really good job of showing the little details and all the hard work that comes with putting these projects together. The hours in the shop, I would be driving home from work 10, 11 o'clock. I'd see the lights on, I'd see him in there working, cameras are rolling, and I know just stay away, because when he's in that zone, it's really about staying locked in, and he just does such a good job of, like you said, capturing, making it really fun for people to watch.
Yeah.
And obviously the end results are amazing.
I don't want to let you go without talking. Hold on a quick second, Tracy. Sorry. I want to talk about the products that you carry in the store, because some of those are very interesting and go so well with the theme. So talk a little bit more about the marketplace you have there.
Yeah. So, the marketplace was a focus of ours going into this. We wanted it obviously to have some coffee and food, but I wanted a retail section, and it takes up just about half of our usable space here. And the products that we're carrying are number one, unique. They're aesthetically accurate to the space, and I wanted to bring in products that you can't really find in too many other locations in our vicinity. I didn't want to deny the local product, but I know there's so many places that you can go. You can go right to the source for a lot of that. I just wanted to bring in some new, inspiring, kind of quirky,
They fit very well with the theme. They fill very well with the theme and the vibe in the place.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it very consistent. It's been really fun for me to product search and fill that in. And, I think the products are always going to be changing, which is fun. Certain things come into play. You see what sells, what doesn't, what people are asking for. I'm trying to put in a little mid-century home goods section. So it's kind of always evolving.
Very exciting. Very exciting. All right, so Travis, we usually end our show with the NOFO Live 5. We ask the same 5 questions of all our guests. So if you were going to take Sunita and I out to lunch, not at your location or dinner,
locations.
Yes.
Actually, you could take us to oysters. I wouldn't mind.
But if you needed a break from work and you were going to take us out to lunch or dinner, where would you take us?
Can I say the other restaurant? Because I think,
of course,
yes, of course.
So I would take you back over to Little Creek Oysters. I've seen a lot of people come in here and say that they're on their way to the other location. What I do is bring you there and have you sit upstairs and capture the view of the shipyard, which I think is so lovely. And we've got some great selections that are new to the menu over there. We just had a spicy seafood soup that was on. So that would be the next location I'd bring you to.
What are the hours there? What are the hours there?
So right now we're 6 days a week over there, Wednesday to Monday. Every day but Wednesday we open at noon.
Oh, so you have
it's like noon
lunch.
to 8, noon to 9. Yep.
So
Wednesday 5 for a happy hour. Yeah.
Okay, sunrise or sunset, what do you catch and what's your preferred location?
For me, it's sunset, and it's down at Goldsmiths Inlet, just across the road from where we are here. Right in that area. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great spot.
And we didn't mention the coffee that you serve there, so I do want to mention North Fork Moto. Is that who you're serving as coffee, or what?
So we're using North Fork Moto's blend, and they've been our coffee mentors through this whole process, from training, machinery, roasting, and Clay and Megan have been really, really great to partner with, and we have a really nice relationship here. Okay,
so when you're not drinking coffee, is it cocktail, brewery, mocktail, wine? What do you enjoy and where?
Right now, it's a lot of coffee. I am really enjoying, the easy access. But for me, if I had to go grab, probably a glass of wine, I'd go check out One Woman. They just opened that brand new tasting room and space. I would go over to One Woman and check that out.
I haven't been to the new space, so that sounds good.
It's really stunning. I was there for the opening, and they did such a good job.
Awesome. So are you getting any local produce for the things that you're making in the shop?
Local produce, not just yet. I'm gonna wait until we get some harvest in springtime. I have some stuff from 𝗥𝗶𝗰𝗸𝘆 Farms. We're using their cherry compote. I have a tomato sauce, and then I'm gonna work on some more, local products to bring in during the spring and summertime.
What's your go-to farm stand when you're cooking at home?
When I'm cooking at home, it's probably gonna be 𝗥𝗶𝗰𝗸𝘆 just because they're right down the road from me.
Yeah.
It's
They've got a
close.
great selection
Yeah,
too.
and Peter and I are really good friends, and I just love a lot of the products that they're doing over there.
Nice. So obviously you've been a part of the community for a long time, but why are you loving this new version of yourself of a restaurateur here on the North Fork?
Well, first things, it allows me to meet so many people and really get to know, all walks of life. We have different regulars over here now, so I'm getting to see and meet new people. For the past 7 years, I've gotten to know so many people through Little Creek and have formed amazing relationships and lifelong friends, through that business. And it's something that, is just so enjoyable to me. I really get inspired, every day at work. And, the people that we have in the community here are so genuine. I've been lucky enough to partner with some really great people as well. And I think our community and what we put out there is so strong. So you just get the best out of people. And that is really what drove me into being a part of this industry, and why I want to keep at it.
Well, clearly the North Fork is better for having you on it by what you're doing for us here. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for creating this beautiful space. And I would encourage everybody that's watching, because it is a small space. So I would say winter is the perfect time to get in there, get a warm cup of
Yeah,
coffee, spend a little time just playing, and taking a little piece of your day and getting some zen, if that's the word there. I mean, it's fun zen.
Yeah.
absolutely. And with the polar plunge is at Veterans, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe on the way back, this Sunday, if you want to stop by to warm up with a cup of coffee or a hot tea, it might not be a bad idea.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a good plan. That sounds like a
And
good plan.
Sunita, something we never really mentioned, but I want to just make a point. For those of our viewers who are watching, when you go in, if you see Travis, make sure you say hi and say that I saw you on the NOFO live show, because I think that, people, it's easy to watch people on screen, but then when you get in person, you kind of feel like, oh, should I say something? And I think that's what this show is about. So making sure that people know that, go in and say hi and ask if Travis is there.
Yeah, I'm not shy. Please come in and say hello.
Well, you definitely have a customer driving out from the Bronx, so we'll see. Because somebody in the comment is saying, "I live in the Bronx, and I'm definitely going." And I think you won't regret it. It is really an experience that everybody should enjoy. And I, like I said, the last time I ended up sitting there for an hour by myself in a booth, so I can't wait to come back soon.
Excellent. Yeah, so many people have driven out and made the trip and made a day of it. And I'm so thankful for that, for the discovery and taking the time out of their day to get out here. Before
we end, I did notice a question came in. Are you guys on DoorDash or any of the deliveries?
No, not on DoorDash, okay. or the deliveries. You can order online. You can find that through the link in Google, and there's an online ordering site for pickup only, but no DoorDash yet.
Okay.
But that's a
good thing.
Great idea. You order it before you leave your home, and you get in the car, and it'll be ready there. So that sounds perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Tracy and I will see you on Sunday. And whether it's 30 seconds in the water or 3 minutes in the water, we're going to let it unfold as it unfolds. If anybody's interested in joining the plunge, I believe today's the last day to sign up online. You can sign up till 2:00, but you still can sign up on site on Sunday if you choose. And it is a fundraiser, and the monies are going to CAST and the CC Marine program for Back to the Base. So if anybody's inclined to donate, we'll put the link up. And so far, we are so appreciative of how much you guys have opened your hearts. It's sometimes when I look at it, it makes me want to cry tears of happiness
Yeah.
because it's wonderful to live in a community where everybody's so supportive.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
See you next
everybody.
week.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Travis.
Travis.